Hello, I'm Immigration Attorney Pace Rawlins, Pace for your case. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to talk about the upcoming August family-sponsored visa bulletin and compare it with this month's July. So let's go ahead and let's jump into some of these important dates. To find these dates, you can go to travel.state.gov, the U.S. Department of State, and there you can go to the Legal Resources U.S. Visa Law Policy, find the visa bulletins, and find the current, which is July, the time of filming this, and then August 2023, which is the upcoming month. We like to review to see how these dates are going to change. And what are these dates? These dates are created by Congress. There's a certain amount of visas allotted per category depending on who the family members petition you. We'll go through that here in a minute. And what area chargeability, what country you're from. And I'll go over that here in a minute too as well. But just to give you a rundown, this is the site. You can see all previous filings, and then we can only get a window usually in the middle of the month, more or less. We get us a little bit of a foreshadowing of what is going to be happening with those dates. And so I'm going to go ahead and switch on over to the July and August and compare. Here is the visa bulletin, and I have here both the areas of chargeability and the preference categories. I'll run through those real quick for those who may not understand. Starting with the areas of chargeability, first we have the big four countries where we have high volume of immigration that Congress has given their own areas, and that is going to be the Philippines, Mexico, India, and China. And everybody else in the world is going to fall into the other areas of chargeability. And then that breaks down in our different rows here. For F1, that is going to be, and I've listed down here, unmarried sons and daughters of U.S. citizens. So unmarried sons and daughters of U.S. citizens. That's all typically going to be sons and daughters over the age of 21. And then second preference is going to be in two subparts, F2A and F2B. That's going to be your unmarried spouses and children under the age of 21 of permanent residence. F2B is going to be your unmarried, very important, unmarried sons and daughters, 21 years of age or older. And that category is traditionally longer. We'll go into that here in more detail. Your F3 is going to be your married sons and daughters of U.S. citizens, ones that are over the age of 21 that are married. And then your F4 are going to be your brothers and sisters of U.S. citizens. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in a little bit more in depth on the changes from July to August. So a lot of the dates in these preference categories are frozen, which means they haven't moved. So here's July, and I'm going to show you August here in a second. But the categories that I'm going to focus on is going to be our F1, our F2A, our F1 and our F2A. And then also you have here your final action dates and then the dates for filing. And what's the difference between these two? So the final action date is when there is actually a visa available, where somebody, if everything is done, their paperwork's done, they can go and take and get their visa if they're eligible for it. And the B filing dates, which are tend to be a little bit quicker, are where you can start your process even though the visa is not available to kind of get a head start. I highlighted the dates that are changing from July to August, and you're going to see changes in the F1, F2A, and F3 categories. In most of the country areas of chargeability, you're going to see that except for, look up in the F1, Mexico and the Philippines has remained the same. But you're going to see advance dates. That's good. That means more visas are becoming available, but you're also going to see in the F2A, you're going to see more retrogression. And retrogression, what does that mean? It means that there's more demand, less visas available, which means the time and the line to be able to get the visa is gradually increasing. And we had a big jump from July to August, going from, it looks like across the board there, an average of about 2 years. So take a look at those. If you have questions, feel free to contact me to schedule a consultation, review these with you. Especially, I would recommend if you have children who are under the age of 21 in that F2A and you're a permanent resident and they're in their teenage years, getting older, that's something that you'll want to talk about. And you could see maybe petitioner become a U.S. citizen. Because of becoming a U.S. citizen, you could cut the time down and perhaps protect children from aging out, or even helping your loved ones, your other loved ones, with other petitions, or your spouse, if he is an F2A, to be able to be eligible for adjustment of status. All right, let's talk about the upcoming changes in August to the filing dates. And remember, these filing dates are not when the visa becomes available, but these filing dates are where you can start the application early. And I always like to use the analogy that these separate and earlier filing dates are just like a drive-through at a fast food restaurant. Why is that? Let me explain. You'll often see when you go to a fast food restaurant and you're in the drive-through, when the line of cars gets too long, an employee from that restaurant leaves with their headset on and their notepad, and they take your order early. And that is to try to speed it up so you can get to that front window and get your fast food, right? So it's the same thing that they're doing here. Is the National Visa Center, when these dates for filing hit, and they're often months to years earlier than a visa's available, they'll reach out to you through your email, through your mail, and say, look, now it's time. Make payment for the immigrant visa. Make payment for the affidavit of support. Start filling out the paperwork, the DS-260. Start filling this stuff out and get it ready so that when we can get you to the window quicker, when the visa is available. So I like to use that analogy to understand why these dates and why it's important to watch them, and why it's important to make sure you jump on them and start filling out that information quickly. So you'll see here, we have two changes to the filing dates, and it's in F1 and F2B of Mexico. And boy, were they ever big jumps, big changes. So we have more than a 2 year, 1st January 2003 in July, and in August coming up, we're going to have 1st of April 2005. And same thing here, more than a 2 year jump for F2B category, April 2002 to August 2004. So that means those who are beneficiaries and from Mexico in these preference categories, there's going to be a lot of contact from National Visa Center. Watch your emails, watch your mail, make sure if it's not updated. That's for both the petitioner, who the resident or citizen petitioner, and even the applicant. Make sure they're updated so you don't miss that very crucial, important contact from the National Visa Center so you can get forward. So thank you so much for joining me, Pace for Your Case, on this quick update, July to August Visa Bulletin. I hope you learned something. I love to teach immigration. Feel free to continue to follow me on Facebook, like me on Facebook, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Pace for Your Case. Thanks.